Whoa. What's up? Wait. Let's go back. Let's go back and redo that. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mike Dolce Show. That's right. You know what time it is. It is time to get down and talk. We're talking MMA, mixed martial arts. If you're here for diet and fitness, don't worry. I'm probably going to talk about that stuff too. We want to talk today about Mr. Conor McGregor versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. Why is that relevant? What's up, SoCal Seth? That's relevant because Conor McGregor was the reigning UFC lightweight champion of the world until Khabib Nurmagomedov stepped into the octagon and walked away with Conor's belt. What makes this interesting is that Khabib and Conor never fought. Well, why is that? The UFC actually stripped Conor McGregor of his lightweight belt once the fight began. And this is actually a silly story. Conor, for whatever reason, didn't defend his belt. He knocks out Eddie Alvarez in UFC 205 in New York City back in 2016. We fast forward into 2017, Conor McGregor steps into a boxing ring and he goes 10 rounds with Floyd Mayweather, walks away with about $100 million in the process. Then we continue on through the year. Conor McGregor does not defend his lightweight world title. Tony goes out there. Tony takes the belt, the interim belt. Now, Tony's the reigning interim lightweight title holder. All right, it's getting confusing. Then the UFC sets up an interim title fight between Tony Ferguson and Khabib Nurmagomedov, who was coming off a dominant win over Edson Barboza, who wasn't even a ranked opponent. But anyway, now you have Tony Ferguson versus Khabib Nurmagomedov for the UFC interim belt, but also kind of maybe we'll tell you later the UFC actual lightweight belt because the UFC didn't announce whether or not it would be for the lightweight title. Are you guys following this? It's silly, stupid. It's stupid. So now we go forward and we're supposed to see the fight between Tony Ferguson and Khabib Nurmagomedov. Tony Ferguson hurts his leg, gets pulled off the card with like a week's notice. The UFC then slides in Max Holloway, UFC 145-pound champion, who's bumping up a weight class to fight Khabib on like 6 days' notice. Max Holloway goes through fight week and then gets pulled off the card for medical reasons because he was working with a team of schmoes who didn't know how to manage his weight properly. Max gets pulled off the card on weigh-in day. The medical commission or the New York State Athletic Commission deemed Max medically unfit to compete and in fact stopped him from even cutting further weight because it was too unhealthy in their opinion. Insane. So then the UFC slides in Raging Al Iaquinta to fight Khabib Nurmagomedov for the interim lightweight title, which also could be the actual lightweight title, but they didn't announce this, which is crazy. Then we go through, we get the fight, and what do we see? We see Khabib Nurmagomedov walks away with the UFC official lightweight title. Conor McGregor is officially stripped of the lightweight title. But now, if we rewind back to Thursday of that same fight week, you'll be aware of Dollygate. Conor McGregor raging into the underbelly of the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, throws a dolly, a 400-pound dolly, 500 yards, probably not that heavy, probably not that far, into a bus that Khabib was on and gets in all sorts of fake trouble, not real trouble, because it doesn't really matter because he's not getting charged with anything specific. And Conor McGregor becomes the headlines of Fight Week. Now we have set the bout between Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov for the UFC lightweight world title. If Conor can actually get licensed and come back and fight, and if Conor decides to come back and fight in the UFC. And if the UFC decides to actually put this fight together. This is insane. This makes no sense. This is silly, stupid. This is stupid. I'm sorry, UFC. I love the UFC. But guys, this is stupid. This makes no fucking sense. I'm a huge fight fan before anything else. And man, I'm annoyed. I'm pissed. This sucks. Who's the champion? Like, really? Like, this is the way we limp into a title fight? This is the way now we're trying to set up contenders? It doesn't make sense. You know what does make sense right now? Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier makes sense right now to challenge for the UFC lightweight title. And what I would do, I'm going to put on my Dana hat right now. What I would do is I would announce the fight between Dustin Poirier and Khabib Nurmagomedov in July, the biggest fight card of the year during International Fight Week. And I would put Khabib and Dustin on that card, which is going to be headlined by Stipe Miocic and DC Daniel Cormier. Because now what happens, you get a real title fight. Dustin Poirier is coming off an amazing fight of the night, fight of the year candidate versus Justin Gaethje. Poirier goes out there and finishes Gaethje in the 4th round in a war, shows a champion's heart, finishes him, and calls for Khabib's belt. Says, I don't want Conor, I don't want Eddie, I want the goddamn title. And that's what we want to see. We want to see Poirier step up and fight Khabib for the title. And then the winner of that fight, now you are well positioned to challenge Conor McGregor for the belt, actually to defend your belt at that point. Conor can come back and defend and can claim his validity to the belt, because Conor was actually stripped of the belt. Conor never actually lost the belt in the octagon. And that does matter. That does matter. Now, with that being said, what do you guys think? Who do you want to see come in and fight? I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I'll go through your thoughts here in a minute over in the comment section. Feel free to leave your comments. Who do you want to see come in and fight? I want to see Poirier versus Khabib because Tony's still hurt. Tony's going to be out for a while. I'd love to see Conor come back and fight somebody on that card. Who knows? Maybe Conor comes back and fights George St. Pierre. That's a lot of the talk right now. Conor McGregor versus GSP at possibly a catchweight or at 170. I think Conor would push for a catchweight of 160 or 165 and make George suck down a little bit. But who knows? I'll keep you posted as I hear more, because I am the most connected man in MMA. I know everybody. I have conversations with everybody. My cell phone is filled with everybody's name and text messages you would not believe. But that being said, let's run through some questions or some comments here. SoCal Seth, what's up, man? Unemployed Mario Yamasaki. Mario, what's up? What's up, boss? You hiring? Seth, is it going to be a dolly match? It should be, right? Say what, Senor Dolce? Josh Stansberg. Dave K. What's up, my brother? Thought Conor got stripped. He did get stripped. It's silly, right? Seth, 4 times they tried to make the Tony versus Khabib fight. I know, it's damned. But Josh, Dana is claiming Dustin Poirier is in the hat to fight Khabib. In the hat? Who cares about in the hat? Come on, man. Set the fucking fights. Make it clear. Clear out these divisions. Let's get the rankings going. Chander, whose side are you on? I'm on your side. I'm on the side of the fans. I don't care. I have no horse in that race. No horse in that race at all. We don't work with anybody in the lightweight division. Featherweight division, on the other hand, Mirsad Bektik is the future world champion at 145. Mirsad Bektik is the man. And Mirsad Bektik should have a title fight within 3 fights from now. His next fight is June 9th versus Ricardo Lamas in Chicago, Illinois. After that fight, he fights for the number 1 contendership. I'm hoping to see Mirsad Bektik this time next year fighting for the UFC world title. Could be sooner. Mark my words. John James, everybody was shook. You know what's up, John James. WWE style dolly match. That's the truth. Josh says grumpy face. Mo, Dustin Poirier, no doubt. Good. Chander, Khabib versus Poirier, no doubt. John James says wait for Tony to recover. We can't wait, my brother. Could be a year or more. When Tony comes back, Tony immediately comes back at the top of the pack. I agree. Tony Ferguson, one of my favorite fighters, actually. I love watching the dude fight. I like what Tony Ferguson's about. He fucking brings it. I want to see Tony come back and jump right to the top of the pack. He shouldn't lose his spot in line. He should challenge whoever is in that spot. Maybe he has to fight the number one contender, depending on how dominant that is. If Tony jumps in today, Tony probably has to fight Dustin Poirier because Poirier laid claim to the title. That's the way it has to be. To be fair, I'm speaking as a fight fan here. Shander, Conor and Nate trilogy for the time being. That'd be a good one. Let Khabib and Dustin Poirier fight for the title. Let Conor and Nate run it back one more time, right? The rubber match, and see what happens from there. I'm down for that. I think Alvarez and Poirier should fight again. Mike DeLuca. All right, there you go. Did Eddie Alvarez earn a shot at the title? I mean, you could make the case actually for that. Eddie's been out of the game for a minute though, and that's something that sucks in MMA. You're only remembered as well as your last fight, but only if that fight is recent. And Eddie hasn't fought for months now. I mean, I love Eddie Alvarez too. Again, man, he's a stud. But Poirier's got the heat behind him. And I could see it, but I want to see I want to see somebody get that title shot. Right now, I'd have to put Poirier in that title shot. He's got the heat. Dustin Khabib make the most sense, but financially, Conor and Khabib makes the most sense. Josh says, true, but when would that happen? I'm hearing if it is Conor versus Khabib, they're going to wait until the end of the year. And that's bullshit to hold that division up again for another year or so, 3/4 of a year. We want to see that fight happen now. Conor versus Khabib versus Tony in a three-way menage a trois for the UFC lightweight world title. Now, I think if the UFC does a co-promotion with RedTube, I think that it could be all in biggest viewed event in history. Wait a minute. Conor versus Khabib versus Tony is 34's chance of claiming the belt at his age will be shot by the time he returns. I would bet on Tony. I would bet on Tony to come back and make it real. I would bet on Tony to come back and look good here. A winner of Barbosa versus Lee with Fat Alvarez. That's funny. Thoughts on Swanson versus Edgar? I've been waiting for your point of view on that fight for a while now. I don't. Well, here's the thing. Frankie Edgar already dominated Cub Swanson years ago in Austin, Texas. I was there cage side at that fight, dominated that fight. I don't know if that fight makes sense right now. I don't like that fight being run back so quick after Frankie Edgar was knocked out by Brian Ortega. That's like a month or so ago. Edgar was knocked out. I think it's bullshit that the UFC allowed him to get back in. I think it's bullshit that he would be medically cleared. I don't blame Frankie because he's a fucking warrior, right? So you can't blame the warrior for having a warrior's heart and a warrior's mentality. But I do question the decision. I've been around this game long enough. I have good friends that have been in this game for over a decade, for 2 decades now. I've been professionally involved in this game for 2 decades. Since 1997, I've been working with mixed martial arts and no holds barred competitors. So over 20 years now. And I've seen athletes come out on the wrong side of this game, man, because they came back a little too soon. They took trauma when they shouldn't have, and that's unfortunate. That being said, who knows? Who knows what version of Frankie's going to show up, right? We're judging athletes by their last performance, and Frankie didn't look like the Frankie that we're accustomed to. And then having 2 training camps back to back is never a good thing. You usually don't have a better performance when you come back. Now, this isn't me rooting against Frankie. I'm definitely rooting for Frankie, although I like Cub too. So I'm rooting for both guys as a fan of the sport. But from a health and safety perspective, I don't like to see this stuff, man. Gavin says Khabib versus Khabib Poirier for sure. Conor McGregor will be much more inclined to fight Poirier, having already beat him, so he'll hope Dustin wins. Khabib versus Poirier for sure. I agree. Khabib versus Poirier for sure. And that does set up a great fight between Poirier and Conor McGregor. The rematch should Poirier get past Khabib. And that's a tough fight for both guys. We'll see what happens. On what card should Khabib and Poirier fight? Should it be a main event? I could see that in July on the International Fight Week card. They could be a co-main or a triple co-main under DC and Stipe Miocic for the UFC heavyweight title, which I think is the biggest fight in the world. It's two of the baddest men on the planet getting after it. On what card? Look, I rooting for the food, then I'm never disappointed. SoCal says that's funny. I don't know what that means, but I'll laugh with you. Ha ha ha. All right, nobody's commented on my nice sleek haircut aerodynamics today, people. That's what this is about. To finish off, USADA in Russia is a joke. USADA in Russia is a joke. USADA's in Brazil is a joke. USADA is pretty much a joke all around the world, except here in the United States. And even in the United States, USADA is highly suspect. Highly suspect. And we could talk about what USADA did by retroactively approving Floyd Mayweather for IV infusion after he was caught. Now, Floyd Mayweather didn't apply for a TUE. He only applied for the TUE, the therapeutic use exemption, after he was actually caught putting an IV in his arm. And then USADA came in and gave him a retroactive exemption. Well, that makes no sense. And we could go through multiple cases about that. USADA is what it is. I believe personally, I believe USADA is subject to politics just like everything else. I love the concept of texting, but I hate the fact that USADA does not stick to their own strict criteria. USADA should be they should be essentially the death court. USADA should walk in and shut down people's careers. End of story. That's what they should do, or they should be out of the game completely. They shouldn't be wishy-washy, giving retroactive exemptions to multimillionaires. I don't understand that, and there's never been a credible excuse for why they did that. So I have to question that. Were you a better striker or a better grappler when you were a fighter? Truly, I was a better grappler, but I fell in love with striking. I had 6 knockout victories in a row, and I never really grappled again after that. And I had took 6 straight losses in a row after that streak. I had a coach step in and tell me after my 6th win, Mike, you're doing great, but you really got to change your style. You got to change. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to do this. You got to do that. Completely changed my style and immediately made me second guess myself. And then all of a sudden I started losing. And once I started losing, it was hard to get back on the winning track. And then I was able to trade wins and losses. And I became more of a journeyman than anything else. I came out of the gate fucking hard. 6 knockout victories in a row. That building confidence. And I had a coach step in and break my confidence. And I believe that there was jealousy there because I wasn't really credentialed to be a good fighter. And he wasn't a good fighter. And I think he was a little mad at that because I was also a coach at the facility and he was a coach at the facility. And it just fucked my head up, which I think is why I'm a great coach now, is because I understand the psychological side and how to nurture the psyche of an athlete along with the skill set. You going to DC versus Stipe? Fuck yeah, I'll be cage side, baby. Cage side, baby. Cage side. Screaming for the big men to get it done. I'm friends with both those dudes. Shiny head. That's right. I was going to say it's no Meg hair. Marilyn, what's up, young lady? Good to see you. Thoughts on catch wrestling? As I recently signed up for a class, as everyone does, BJJ, and it would be good to something different. Do you think it's effective? Fuck yeah, catch wrestling is brutal. Brutal. Check out Josh Barnett. Josh Barnett is one of the most prolific catch wrestlers. That's the power, baby. Look at that. Boo. Give me your money. Boo. That's the way it works. Psyops right now, people. I tricked you. I wooed you in. With the talk of Conor versus Khabib. Maybe he's eating those Canelo tacos. A lot of people are eating those Canelo tacos. What bullshit that was too, right? Where can we see your old fights, dude? Shit, this was back before the internet was even popular. I'll post a few. If you actually in YouTube type in Mike Dolce IFL, fastest knockout in IFL history. That's pretty gangsta. Freddie Flores, what's up, man? Good to see you, Freddie. Thank you. With everything happening in Syria, Khabib versus Conor might be bigger than any of us can imagine. Could be massive. Although I don't think the Syria. I think that's all hyped up fucking bullshit to a degree. I think it's bureaucratic bullshit. I definitely feel for any human that's involved and affected from a safety perspective. But geopolitical fucking nonsense happening around the world constantly. I'm not a fan of on both sides. I am apolitical very much. I am pro-human. Are you rooting for DC or Stipe? I don't root for anybody really, unless I'm working directly with the athlete. We don't root. We just root for a great fight. All right, guys and girls, awesome. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. Remember to keep checking back. Subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed. Share these videos if you don't, and spread the love. Skeet, skeet, skeet. Click on the notification so you can know when we go live in real time. We will let you know. What else? Give us a thumbs up. Give us a like if you like this video. And if you don't like this video, feel free to troll me down in the comments below because I will talk shit right back. I'm actually really fucking good at it. I will put you on blast and probably make you cry. And most likely, I'm going to post naked photos of your mother because I have them on my cell phone already. That's probably true. Probably true. Remember, you can go to thedolcediet.com right now and join our 4-week or 12-week membership program. Every meal, every ingredient, every set, every rep is programmed and personalized for you. This is the most successful weight loss program on the planet. That's at thedolcediet.com. And I'll actually give you my birthday code from yesterday. That's right. Uncle Mike's birthday was yesterday. It's promo code birthday. You'll save 20% off one day only. One day only. So check that out. And I think that's it, guys and girls. Remember, subscribe to this channel if you don't already. We will be talking shit. I'll actually be back later today, and we're going to get, baby, boom, the bicep of truth never lies. You know that's fucking true. Boom.